Hello my loves, how are you doing? Welcome to another video. Hi, I'm Camila Rose and I am coming to you today to talk about that Mars retrograde. Are you ready? Hi, welcome to another video. I'm so glad that you joined me today. So I'm hyped. I'm very hyped because I have entered the shadow period for the Mars retrograde. It has started officially October 4th. I was actually a few days off. I thought it started on the 6th. The funny thing is that we're already seeing this thing in effect, and by the calculations, it was completely right. The thing would get a little interesting. What we're going to see with this is we have Mars at 17 degrees of Cancer, and at 17 degrees of Cancer, moving all the way through Cancer until it gets to 6 degrees of Leo. That will be happening on December 6th. And on December 6th, that's when Mars is going to go retrograde, and we're going to move back from Leo back into Cancer until we go back into this 17 degrees. When Mars is going to be in Leo, we're going to be seeing this energy of this movement, this will, this expression of the self as far as what it means to truly live and breathe our expression of who we are, to embrace that, to perform that. Leo energy is this gorgeous, vibrant, fiery energy of fixed fire. It is the stabilizing energy that brings that sense of being birthed that happens in Aries, which is ruled by Mars, and the growth that has to happen. We move through the signs all the way from Aries through Taurus, through Gemini, through Cancer, until we get back to our next fire sign, which is Leo. And when we get to Leo, we're at this point where we have had the I am in Aries, we have the I have in Taurus, I am communicating, how I communicate, how I express myself, how I gather information and understand it in Gemini. And then we start to understand this point of the other. Now, that officially happened in Libra and in the 7th house. That's when we officially really start encountering the other. But when we get to Cancer, we get this archetype of the mother. We get this understanding of that there is somewhere that we came from. We have roots, we have ancestors, we have a culture, we have a space that we live in. The land has memories and it has experiences. And we get this understanding that it's not just us. It starts with Cancer. And then we move over to Leo. That's like, but there's still me. I'm still me. We get that childlike wonder. We get the archetypes of the inner child, of the hero child, of the God child. And so we get to this point where when we're doing this inner work and this inner alchemy, we are bringing these different aspects, our conscious self and our unconscious self, together in order to create something new from it. And that's usually seen as the child. And so Leo energy often embraces and embodies that archetype of the child. But the one that we see that happens at this cosmic, this very macro level, right? And so when Mars is going to be in Leo, it adds some fire, it adds some oomph to this standing up for ourselves, this defending ourselves, this space where we feel like we are the leaders of our lives. And so what happens is we start to examine whether we're feeling like things are lining up, whether we feel like we are being allowed to express ourselves the way that we feel that we should be able to, whether we have someone else who's wanting to tell us what we should be doing with ourselves, our time, and our energy. And that goes back into, we start to have this interaction with the archetype of the mother, the child in Leo and the mother in Cancer. So here's some tips about how to be successful with this Mars retrograde, because we're in the shadow period now. So the shadow period is really that time when you want to be observing, you want to be mindful, and you want to be aware of what's showing up for you right now, particularly when it comes to anything related to the archetype of the mother and the archetype of the child. You have been trying to do work. Everyone has. We've all been trying to improve. We've all been trying to find some sense of stability and happiness and joy in our lives. And so with that, there have been things we have been needing to change. There have been changes that have made. It could be your habit. It could be your job. It could be relationships. It could be anything. But in changing these things, that means we've had to maybe release or transform whatever was going on previously in our life. And because of that, we have to figure out where that energy is going, how it's being transformed or transitioned in order to create that new thing, the child, the energy that's being released or resolved in this Leo energy. But now we're in this examinations phase. We're in this review phase, especially when it comes to things that have caused us to feel angry or defensive, to feel wrong, to feel like we haven't been given the attention or the appreciation that we should have been. That energy, those feelings, those thoughts are messengers. They are telling you something about what's going on in your experience. Not to say that it is or is not true, but it's an example. It's a way of understanding what's happening around you. So you take those messages related to this energy of Mars in Leo, you take these messages related to the energy of Mars in Cancer, and you pay attention to what they're telling you. Be mindful. Journaling is going to be probably your number one tool that I would recommend for this period. From October 4th through December 6th, journal, journal, journal. Here's the things that I would journal. I would mark places, I would mark people, I would mark thoughts, I would mark feelings, and I would have a section where you just allow yourself to free write. These are going to be the things that once Mars actually goes retrograde, you're going to want to be able to return back to this, because those themes, those topics, those individuals are going to show up again. Maybe something started that needs to be resolved. And here's what we're going to see is we're going through the shadow period now. We'll get to the actual retrograde. We'll retrograde back, and then we'll have to go back through those very same portions of the zodiac. So it's going to be a lot of this time spent in this energy of Cancer and that very beginning energy of Leo for Mars. And it's going to be a lot of time of us trying to reconcile any sense of anger or bitterness or resentment that we have towards who we've been able to become, who we're trying to transform into, our mothers, the mother archetype, mother figures in our lives, or the projection of the mother that has been placed upon us. And that energy has to be reconciled. Now, what I will say is, because we have this energy going on in Cancer, that means automatically that we have an oppositional energy that's going to be happening in Capricorn. Capricorn ruled by Saturn, the wise old man, the father figure, the father archetype. So even when we're not necessarily directly engaging with the topic of the father, we are engaging with the topic of the father. There is going to be an underlying tension and space that's going to need to be reconciled, that's going to have to do with the impact of the father and the relationship to the archetype of the mother, and how those two things have come together in order to create what we're seeing when Mars goes into Leo with the child that was created from that situation. Now, again, this is not to say that like you need to be going here and trying to like sit down and have these like big talks with your parents. Maybe, perhaps, but more so, it is to examine and understand your own relationship to these archetypes and how others are perhaps projecting these archetypes onto you. Because it's your reconciliation of what's going on internally, unconsciously with you, that's going to actually be able to take that conscious self and the unconscious self and make something new from it. And that's going to be what hopefully will come out once we really move into this Mars in Leo energy. Now, we have something very similar that's going to be going on with Venus moving from Aries to Pisces. I've talked about that a little bit, but I'll talk about that in the next video. So I wish you the best. I will be checking in. I don't know if I'll be doing daily videos, but I really want to make sure that I'm making more videos for this channel. I'm really trying to grow this channel. So let me know what you're looking forward to. Let me know what videos you'd like to see. I love talking about astrology. I need to get more into my tarot readings and bringing those back. But I have tons that I can chat about is related to archetypes. And if you're wanting to see exactly how this is going to show up for you, sign up for my Mars Intensive Workshop. That is going to be taking place on December 6th, the day that Mars goes retrograde. We're going to be looking at all those aspects of Mars. We're going to be looking at the archetypes. We're going to be looking specifically at the individual's charts. It's a limited amount of people who can sign up because it is going to take some time to be able to look at everyone's charts and figure out kind of what the synthesis looks like, how this is going to play out, the archetypes that'll be showing up for you. So if you're really wanting to dig in and make this as personal and find the most success that you can with this transit, sign up for that workshop. You can also grab PDF of the Mars Intensive. It's available on my website, www.theblissinstitute.org, where you can go and you can start to lay the foundation for your information about Mars, what it represents, how it shows up. And then that way you can already start to build up and make note of when you're doing your journal entries about what's happening and what's showing up. Mindfulness will be your greatest tool and asset at this time in having that awareness to just see what's going on and to help you from reacting, because that is the thing with Mars. Mars loves to react. Mars loves to respond. It is always trying to be awake and aware and trying to exert its will in some way, shape, or form. And so it's looking for that other in order to be able to have that interaction and growth with. And what happens is we have these exchanges when things don't always match up. There's a clash, and that's where we start to have that conflict, and that's where Mars really gets excited. It's like, oh, I'm alive, I'm fighting for something, I have something to live for, so let me go ahead and let me respond to this interaction. Let me engage with this person. I'm not saying don't do that, but I am saying be mindful. Be mindful of your activators, be mindful of your triggers, be mindful of the things that light you up in the best of ways and in the worst of ways, because those are the things that are going to really need to be addressed and taken care of during this Mars retrograde. Okay, so I'll make another video. We'll go through some of the signs very, very quickly, and then I'll see you later. Have a great one, y'all. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See y'all later. Bye.